What's up, tubers? Welcome to another edition of Coding with Robbie. My name's Robbie, and in this video we're going to build a JWT authentication system in Golang. So we will be using some third-party libraries. We're going to use Gorm, which is the top ORM library for Golang. We're going to use Gin. It's the best web framework. We're going to use the official bcrypt package. And then we're going to use this jwt-go library, which is the most popular JWT package. We're going to use go.env for environment variables. And then I'll be using this compile daemon package that just watches files for changes and restarts our project upon change. So we're going to get into this right now. So let's open up our terminal. And let's just cd to our Go workspace folder. So let's go to my project folder, source, GitHub, Robbie Klein. And let's make a new folder for our project. I'll call mine Go JWT. And then I'm going to cd into that folder and run go mod init to create a go mod file. So now we can install all the packages we're going to need. So let's just go through each one of these. So for Gorm, we'll go to docs, overview, and we're going to need this right here. So paste it in. And we're going to need a database driver. I'm going to be using Postgres, so I'll just copy the beginning part. Paste it in and type Postgres. And then we're going to need Gin, so let's go to docs, quick start. And they got it right here. Let's grab that. And I'll paste it in. And then we're going to need this bcrypt package, which comes from the crypto package. So they have instructions right here. Let's copy the beginning part. And I'll paste it in and type bcrypt. So we just get the bcrypt part. So that should grab it, and then we're going to need this JWT package. So let's go to their GitHub. I think they have better instructions there. Scroll down, and here's how we grab it. So let's copy that, and I'll just paste it in the terminal. And then we want this go.env package, so let's grab this with the command right here. And I'll paste it in. And then last up, I want this compile daemon package. So let's grab it right here. Paste it in. And then I'm also going to install this one so I can run it as a command line tool thing. So go install and then the same command. Alright, so we got everything installed. Now we're going to get started. So let's open this up in VS Code. And let's create a main.go file. And then in here it'll be package main, and we need a main function, so func main. And then let's just print line and just say hello for now. Save that. Now we're going to run it with that compile daemon package we installed. So compile daemon, and then we got to go -- command. And once it builds it, we want it to run / and then whatever we named our Go module. So mine is go-jwt. So that's going to build it and then run it, and I get hello. And now if I make a change, it's going to automatically rebuild it and rerun it. So I get hello 2 right there. Alright, so now we're going to set up all these packages. So there's kind of a lot of setup, so I'm going to kind of go through it quick. Let's create a new folder called initializers. And we're going to start with the environment variables. So let's check out the .env package. You just create a file in the root of your project, put your variables in it, and then you load it with this code right here. So let's create .env, and I'll just go port is equal to 3000. Save it, and then let's go to initializers and create a new file called load env variables.go. And this is going to be package initializers, and we want a function called load env variables. And just make sure to start it with a capital letter. That lets you use it within other packages. And then paste in the code we copied. So this loads them, and then if there's an error, it lets us know. Now let's run this function within our main file. So instead of doing it in main, I'm going to do it within the init function, which runs right before main. So initializers dot load environment variables, and that automatically imports it, and we're running the function right there. So that's good. We got our environment variables loaded. So now let's set up Gin. Let's go to the Gin Quick Start Guide. And they give us an example right down here. Let's copy it. And let's paste it in main. So we're creating a Gin app, and then we have one route at /ping that returns Pong. And we're starting it down here. So let's go back to our browser and try localhost 3000 /ping. And we get the message, so it's working good. So now let's connect to a database. So let's create a new file called connect to db.go. And it's going to be package initializers func connect to db. And yeah, let's look up how to connect to a database. So we'll go to Gorm and we'll go to connecting to a database. And we don't have a database yet, so you can create one at elephantsql.com. Just sign up, create a free Postgres database, and you'll get to a page like this with all the credentials. So let's go back to Gorm. So we're going to be using Postgres, so let's find the example for that. And it's right down here. I'm going to copy it. I just want these bottom two lines. And then let's paste it in our function here. And then let's get our database credentials. So I'll go to Elephant. I'll just copy the URL right here. And I'll paste it in, and I'm just going to extract the details we need. So here's the username. Here's the password. Here's the host. And here's the database name. And then the default port is 5432. And then I'm going to delete the time zone part. There we go. So this should connect to our database, and then we're storing it right here as DB. But we really want this to be available anywhere in our project, so I'm going to create a global variable for that. So go var db is type star gorm .db, and then let's create this error variable up here. So var error of type error. And then instead of creating new variables, we're going to assign it to the existing two variables we just created. So db and error. And then we got to check for the error. So let's go if error is not equal to nil. Let's panic and say failed to connect to db. So that looks good. One other thing we can do is let's just move this to an environment variable. So I'll copy all that, go to .env. I'll just go db is equal to that. Go back here, and to get the environment variable, it's just os.getEnv. And then you just give it the key you want. So ours is db. And yeah, that should connect to a database. So let's run it in our main function. So initializers.connect to db. Should be connecting. Let's check our terminal. And I don't see any errors, so it is working. So next up, we want to create a model. So let's create a new folder called models. And we're going to create our user model. So let's go user model.go. And let's look up how to create a model. So let's go to Gorm. And we'll go up and we'll go to declaring models. And they give some examples here, but the one I want to show is this one right here. So they add this line, gorm.model. And this automatically adds these 4 fields, which we're going to want. So let's copy this example. I'll paste it in. This is going to be package models. And then we're creating a user. We're going to get those 4 columns. And then we want ours to have an email of type string and a password of type string. And then let's add some additional configuration to email. So we can go backticks, gorm, colon, quotes. And then there's some special options you can put in here. And the one I want is unique. So every email in our database will have to be unique. So that's good. And yeah, we created a model, and now we got to migrate our database. So it adds the users table. And to do that, if we go back to Gorm and we go to the overview, they show it, where do they show it? Right down here, there's this auto migrate function where you just pass it a empty struct and it will create the table. So let's copy that, and we'll do it in another new file. So initializer/sync database.go. Let's go package initializers, function sync database. I'll paste it in, and ours is initializers.db. But since we're still in the initializers package, we can get rid of that beginning part. And then we want to auto migrate our models.user. There we go. So let's run this. Let's go to main, and we'll run it right after we connect. Initializers.sync database. Let's do that. Check our terminal. I don't see any errors, so it should have created the table. So we can verify that. Let's go to Elephant and copy the URL. And I have this Table Plus app where I can connect to a database. So let's create new connection, import from URL, and hit import and connect. And you can see we have the users table with those 4 automatic columns and then our email and password. All right, so that's most of the setup. So now we can start with our actual JWT stuff. So let's start with a signup function. Let's create a new folder called controllers. And then we'll create a new file in there called userscontroller.go. And then this is going to be package controllers. And we want func signup. And this is going to receive the gin context. So star gin.context. And yeah, this is our signup function. So in here we want to get the email / password off rec body. We want to hash the password, create the user, and then respond. So to do the first part, we have to create a variable to store the data that's going to come in. So let's go var body is going to be a struct, and we're going to be expecting an email of type string and a password of type string. And then to populate this variable with the data that came in, you go c.bind, and you pass a reference to the variable, so and body. And then this can return an error, so let's go if that is not equal to nil, we know we have an error, so we'll go in here and we'll go c.json, and we'll go http dot status, and let's just do bad request, and then we'll send a message gin.h, and let's just go error failed to read body. Alright, so this is going, hey, get these variables off the request body, and then if it fails, it's going to send this message, and we want to add return so it doesn't continue doing anything else. So that looks good. So if we do make it down here, we know that we have the body with email and password. So let's hash the password. So we're going to use that bcrypt library we installed. So it's bcrypt dot, and then the one we want is generate from password. And then we have to give this a password as a byte array thing. So let's just go body password, and it automatically wraps it to convert it. And then the second argument is the cost, and the default is 10, and we'll just leave it at that. And then this returns the hashed password and an error. So let's get both of those. We'll go hash and error. Like that. Let's check for the error. So if error is not equal to nil. If it's not nil, we want to return early and say failed to hash password. And then if we do get past that, we now have a password hash. So let's create the user with it. Let's go and look up how to do that. So I'll go to Gorm. I'll go to create, and they give an example right here. Let's copy it. And ours is models.user. And then our user has an email, and we'll give it the body.email. And then we have a password, and we'll give it the hash right here, so hash. But you see it's giving us an error. It's saying ours is a string, but it has to be that byte array thing. So let's just go byte and wrap it like that. I'm sorry, I did it backwards. We have the byte array and we want a string. So let's go string and put it in there. So that fixes it. And then this line right here creates it. So ours is initializers.db .db, and this result object has a property called result.error. So we want to go if result.error is not equal to nil, then we know something went wrong. So let's return early. So we'll go error failed to create user, and then we'll return. And if we get past here, we know we got our user saved in the database and we can just respond. So I don't think we really need to send anything to the user, so let's just do a 200 success code. So c.json, http status OK, and then we'll go gen.h. I'm just going to leave it blank. And now let's connect this function to our router. So let's go to main.go, and then we'll make it /signup, and it's going to be a post request since we're sending in data and we're going to save. And then instead of this function, let's put our controller function. So controllers.signup. So that should be hooked up. So now we're going to test it in Postman. So if you don't have Postman, go to postman.com and download it. It just lets you send HTTP requests. So let's create a new workspace. I'll call it Go. And then it'll be a personal workspace. I'll create it. I'll create a new collection. I'll call it authorization. And then let's add a request in here. And I'll call it sign up. And then let's fill in the details. So ours is a post request to HTTP localhost 3000/signup. And then we want to send stuff in the request body. So let's go to body. We'll select raw and then JSON. And we want to send an email and a password. So save that, let's send it and see if it works. So I hit send and we get the 200 back. And if we check our database, I can refresh and it created it right here and it saved the password hash instead of the plain text. And then watch, if we try to create another user with the same email, we get an error message. So our unique config thing is working good. So that's cool. So now let's do login. So let's go back to controllers. Let's create a new one down here. Func login. It's also going to get the gen context. And in here we want to get the email and pass off rec body. Look up requested user. Compare sent in pass with saved user pass hash. Generate a JWT token and then send it back. Alright, so this first part we did right above, so let's just copy it to save some time. And then if we're down here, we know we got email and password, so let's look up the user based on the email they sent in. So let's look up how to do that. I'll go to Gorm again, I'll go to query, retrieving a single object, and we want to do it by email, so let's see what we got. These are all by ID. Here's one. Let's copy this and let's paste it in. So ours is initializers.db, and then we need a variable to store the user that's going to be looked up. So let's go var user of type models.user. So that's initializers with an s.db. We want to find the first record where email is equal to. And right here we'll do body.email, which is the email they sent in. So now let's make sure it actually found something. So we can go if user.id is equal to 0. Then we know it didn't find a user, so we can return early. Let's copy this. And let's just go invalid email or password. If we get past that, we know we have the user, so now we can compare the password they sent in with the actual password. So to do that, it's bcrypt dot, and it's compare hash and password. So the first argument, we have to give it the hashed password, which is saved on user. So user dot password, and it's automatically going to wrap it in that byte thing. And the second argument is the password they sent in. So let's go body.password. It's automatically going to wrap it. And then what does this return? It returns an error if it was unsuccessful or they don't match. So let's go error is equal to the result of that. And then we'll go if error, oops, not in JavaScript anymore. If error is not equal to nil, let's return early and send a message. Invalid eon password still is fine. And then if we get past that, we know the passwords match, and we'll finally generate our JWT token. So let's check out the docs for, where is it? This JWT package. Let's go to their GitHub. And they got a couple examples down here. Here's how to read a token, and here's how to create one. So we're creating one. Let's click in. And we got an example right here. Let's copy it. And I'll paste it down here. And then we can leave all this. Here's where we put the data we want to encode within the token. So we want to save the subject, which is the user ID. And then I don't really care about this one. Let's do an expiration though. Let's go exp. And then we have to give it a Unix timestamp. So let's go, what is it? Time.capitalNow.Unix. And then this would make it expire immediately. So we got to add some time to this. So let's go .add. And let's add time.hour, which is equal to that number right there, which is 1 hour. And then let's times it by 24 to get a day, and times it by 30 to get a 30 days. So that looks good. So this like kind of sets it up, and then right here is where we like encode and sign it and everything. So we have to give this a secret key that's going to be used to encode and decode it. So let's create an environment variable for that. I'll just create a new one. I'll call it secret, and just make it equal to something that someone can't guess and is hard to crack. So here's some random characters. Let's go back to users controller and let's paste it in right here. So to get it, it's os.getEnv, and the key is secret. And then let me see what this expects. I can't see it. But okay, we're getting the token string and an error. So let's check for the error. So if error is not equal to nil, well then we want to return early and say failed to create token. And then if we get down here, we should have the token. So what I'm trying to see is if this has to be one of those byte strings or if it has to be a normal string. So let's just leave that and we'll see if we get an error. And then down here we got to send it. So let's go c.json http.status OK, and let's go gen.h, and let's just send token, and we'll send the token string. So that looks good. Let's connect this to our, add the trailing comma, and then let's connect it to our router. So let's go to main, and I'll go down here, I'll add a new one. It's still a post, and it's going to be to /login, and then controllers.login. So let's go to Postman again and create a new request. So add request, I'll call this one login. It's going to be a post to localhost 3000/login. And then we got to give it a username and password in the body. So let's go raw JSON. I'll just copy it from the signup request. Paste that in, save it, and let's run it and see what happens. So I hit send. I get page not found. So that's weird. Let's see. Post to /login. Post to /login. Why am I getting not found? I probably have an error. I do. So let's see. Up here, this is just annoying. You have to go /v4. So do that. That fixes the error. It rebuilds it. And now we can try it. So let's go to Postman. Hit send. I get invalid. I don't know. That doesn't make sense. Let's fix that. So let's say failed. Where am I at? down here, let's make it say failed to create token. And I think we do have to do the byte string. So let's go like this. We'll try it one more time. So I'll go back to Postman, I'll hit send, and now I get the token back, so it's working. So that's one way. You could send it like this and then store it in local storage or whatever, but everyone says cookies are better, so let's do a cookie. So down here, instead of sending it like that, let's just send nothing. And let's set up the cookie here. So it's c.set cookie set same site. And we want http.same-site lax mode. And then how do you do it? Is it just cookie? c.cookie. That returns it. We want set cookie. All right, and then let's create a cookie. So let's call ours authorization. Second argument is the value, which we want equal to token string. Third argument is the max age, and this is in seconds, not milliseconds. So 3600 is 1 hour. So let's times it by 24 for a day, and then times it by 30. And then the next is the path. Let's just leave that empty. Next is the domain. I'll leave it how it comes. And then secure. Normally you would want true here, but since we're on localhost, I'm going to go false. And then HTTP only, we want true. That makes it so only the browser and our server can read it. So save that. So now we're sending a cookie. Let's try it out. We'll go back to Postman. And I hit send. I get the 200 back. And now I can see it's sending the cookie with our token right there. And we got the expiration date for 1 month. And yeah, it's all working good. So we got sign up and login, and now we just need some authorization middleware so we can secure routes. So let's create a new function in here called validate. And we'll get the gen context again. And in here, let's just go c.json, http status okay. And let's just send, what is it, gen.h. Let's just send message, I'm logged in. And then let's connect this to our router. So let's go to main, I'll do a new one. It'll just be a get request to /validate. And let's go controllers.validate. And let's just make sure it's working in Postman. So let's create a new request. And it's going to be localhost /validate. And this time it's a get request. So let's save it and hit send. And we get I'm logged in. So now we actually got to secure that route. So let's create a new folder. We'll call it middleware. In here, let's create a new file called require auth.go. And this will be package middleware. Func require auth, and we gotta do capital letters. And this is also going to get the gen context. And then in here, let's just go fmt.println in middleware. And then to continue on from this middleware, you just go c.next. Like that. So now let's connect it to our validate route. We'll go to main, and right before the controller function and after the path, we just put middleware.require auth. So that should work. Let's go to Postman and we'll send it again. And we get the message. Let's go to terminal and we see in middleware. So it is running that function between everything. So that's where we're gonna check for everything. All right, so what do we gotta do in here? We wanna get the cookie off request, and then we wanna decode /validate it. And then we wanna check the expiration, find the user with token sub, attach to request, and then continue. Alright, so we're already continuing with the c.next. So let's get the cookie off the request. You just go c.cookie, and you give it the name of the cookie you want. So ours is called authorization. And then this returns the value and an error. So let's go token string and error is equal to that. And then let's check for the error. So we'll go if error is not equal to nil, then we want to abort the request. So c.abort with status, and we'll give it http status unauthorized. There we go. If we get down here, we know we got the token string, so let's decode and validate it. So let's see how to do that. We'll go to that JWT package again, and they got an example right here. So let's just copy all of this, and I'll paste it down here, and I'm going to delete all their comments. So right here, we're passing it the token string, and then it's just checking the signing method to make sure everything looks right. And then right here, we have to give it our secret key. So ours was stored at os.getenv, and we called ours secret. And then it has to be a byte array thing, so let's convert it like this. That looks good. So this should parse our token, and then down here, it's going to look at the claims and everything. So if that fails, we want to abort also, so let's copy this line. And then if it does go through, we have access to everything within our token now. So let's move all this inside there. And let's check the expiration. So the expiration is saved as claims exp. We just have to let Go know that it's a float 64. And then we want to compare this to the current time. So let's go time.now. And then this is a Unix timestamp thing, so let's go to Unix. And then, so if the time now is greater than the expiration, then we know it's expired and we want to abort. So copy that line. And then I think these are different types. This is an int 64 and this is a float 64, so let's just convert this. So there's probably a cleaner way to do this, but that's how I'm going to do it. And then, yeah, if that goes through, we know it's not expired, so let's find our user. So we can look up how to do that. Let's go back to Gorm, query, and retrieve a single object. And let's see, we want to find by ID this time. Where is it? Here we go. So let's copy this. We'll put it right here. We need a variable to store the found user. So var user of type models user. And then ours is initializers.db, and we want to find the user where the ID is claims sub, which is the ID that we saved on it. And then let's just make sure we found a user. So let's go if user.id is equal to 0. We know it didn't find a user and we want to abort. Like that. If we get down here, we got the user, so let's attach it to the request. So you can just go c.set, and then we give it a key, so our key will be user, and it will be equal to the user object right there. And then we continue. So let's try it out in Postman. I'll go back here and I'll hit send, and I get through and I get the I'm logged in message. So now if we go and log out, so let's delete that cookie. We'll go here. I'll just delete it. So now I don't have the authorization cookie, and I hit send again. And I'm still logged in, so something's going wrong. Let's see what's going on. Oh, okay, here's the error. So it's just annoying with this library. You have to put /v4 and Go doesn't know to auto add it or anything. So /v4. Now it's going to build successfully. Let's try it again without the cookie. And I get the 401 unauthorized error, and then let's log in again. So now I got the cookie again, and I go back here and I hit login, and it works. And now if we go back to that validate request, in here we have access to that user. So the opposite of c.set is c.get, and then let's just give it the what we want. We called ours user, and then this returns the user, and then if it exists, which I don't really care about the second argument, I'll just do an underscore. And now check it out. If we put user here, we have access to our user object. So let's go back to Postman, hit send, and we got the logged in user right there. And then if you wanted to do stuff with this user, you could go user, and if you do dot, it won't show you the fields because we have to let it know that is models.user, and now you can do .id .whatever. And yeah, that's pretty much JWT authentication. So I hope this helped, and I'll see you in the next video. Oh yeah, like and subscribe, and let me know you're there. Leave a comment. Tell me how great this video is, and yeah, see you later.